I chose to come to Perth. I liked the lifestyle. I had an opportunity 20 years ago to move to Sydney, and I want to raise my kids in Perth. I think it's a great place to live. Great beaches, great opportunity, great community here, and so we stayed here.
I'm Dr. Chamonix Blanche, ex-corporate and academical, turned CEO and board member of several companies, and mother of 4 little extraordinary kids. But it wasn't that long ago that I lacked the confidence, the know-how, and the time to focus on designing and really going after the life that I so wanted to live. A life of freedom, of fairness, and of being fair dinkum to who I really was and what I wanted to get out of this fleeting time that we have on Mother Earth. Fast forward to many lessons learned and moving halfway around the world to the most amazing country, you'll see the life that I now live. One that gives me more safety and freedom than I ever thought would be possible, and that really only existed as a daydream while I was living in South Africa. I created Chamonix TV to give you true spot advice on how you can also live a life in this amazing country, and so that you can see how another couple like us now live in Australia with 4 little kids hearing down under. And I'll be providing you with step-by-step strategies so that you can make your Aussie dream a reality too. If you're a keen future Aussie who's looking to create a life that excites you and offers you safety, freedom, and opportunity, you have come to the right place, my friend. Welcome aboard. Hi, Rael. Thank you so much for joining us today on our From the Horse's Mouth series. And how have you been?
I've been well, fantastic. Most of the time, except for when our government goes into lockdown now and then.
Nice to see you. And how long have you been in Perth for, Rael?
22 years, this July. Actually, July the 8th, 2021 will be 22 years.
And all of that in Perth, in Australia?
Yeah. I chose to come to Perth. I liked the lifestyle. I had an opportunity 20 years ago to move to Sydney, and I want to raise my kids in Perth. I think it's a great place to live. Great beaches, great opportunity, great community here, and so we stayed here.
Yes, it is a beautiful spot, and much closer if you wanted to fly back to South Africa for regular visits as well.
Yeah, I tend not to do that much. My sister and mother, my only direct relatives, so to speak, actually live in Canada. So I have lots of cousins in South Africa, but my actual immediate family is out of South Africa.
And when you left South Africa, was that with you and your suitcase, or tell us a little bit about that process?
Well, it was a bit more than a suitcase because we had an oversized 40-foot container because my wife liked to accumulate things. I've been lucky in business. I mean, we started a business the year Mandela was released. I started a business that year, 1990. And it morphed itself into an education business. And for those who were in SA at the time, there was a hunger amongst the majority of the population for education. And that was in the right place at the right time. It grew from 20 students in 1990 to 4,000 students by 1996 over 6 campuses in the country. So we had a ball. There was a lot of political upheaval, as you would know, in that period. And the same activism you were seeing on the university campuses suddenly infiltrated our private education business. And the same unionists and activists were threatening us as the owners of a business. And so we made a decision to get out of the business. It took me another 2 years till mid-99 to make the move to Australia.
So you decided on Australia when you stopped working for that?
In Australia and Canada, actually.
But you knew you wanted to go overseas.
I knew I was leaving the country. I didn't see a future for my kids. I had 2 kids at the time, and I didn't see a future for my kids and their education. And so we had papers for both Australia and Canada. I took my kids to Canada in 1998, and my oldest daughter was 4 at the time, and she, after about 3 weeks, now we went there in the middle of winter to Calgary, which is even worse than the major cities. I mean, it's right up in the edge of the Rockies. It was cold.
Mm.
to put it mildly. And after 3 weeks of our 8-week trip, my daughter looked at me and said, please, can we go to summer? I love the Australian weather. I love the Australian lifestyle. So yeah, we moved here mid-99.
And how did the visa process work for you? Were you able to apply for permanent residency straight away?
I was. Bizarrely, I have 2 master's degrees, and neither of them qualified me for a visa. My wife has an honors degree in teaching, which qualified her for a visa. And so on the back of my wife as a teacher, we got our permanent residence from the time we arrived.
It's such an important thing that you mentioned that, because most people, when they start thinking about leaving South Africa, they go, oh, but I don't have a degree in something. I'm like, well, you don't necessarily need a degree. In fact, I was like you. I had a degree. Well, I just had a degree at that point in time, but that wasn't enough to bring me to Australia. I had to actually come to Australia and become an international student and study here to be able to apply to stay on in Australia. But yeah, it's interesting because it's based on skills, not necessarily on qualifications, which is a little bit different. And you decided straight out it's going to be Perth, or did you come and see Perth first?
We did a trip in 97 where we went to Sydney and Melbourne. Brisbane was never really an option for whatever reason. Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. But I preferred the size of Perth. There was 1.2 million people at the time. I just preferred the size of it. And then a business opportunity came up that never actually eventuated, and I ended up doing something else. But yeah, that was the main reason for coming here, was there was this opportunity to start an education business here. Yeah.
Do you think that if you were still to live in South Africa, that you would have been able to do the same work-life balance that you do have here in Australia?
No, I think part of the work-life balance we have here has got to do with our feelings of security. The fact that my son, who's 17, is in year 12, comes home from school, he drives himself to school, comes home, and then 5 o'clock yesterday, he sort of sent me a text, because I was on a Zoom call, sent me a text saying, I'm just going for a run, and went out in the streets for a run. Now, would you do that? Yes, you might do that in South Africa if you're living in a walled estate. I just think the level of tension there, and right now in 2021, with over 10,000 cases a day of COVID in Johannesburg and 20,000 in the country, I'm glad I don't live there.
Rael, just as a last question, if there are some people considering coming to Australia and they're a little bit on the fence, what would your advice be to them?
So the same advice I give people in business, and it's on the back of my book. And if any of your listeners would like a free copy of my book, they welcome. It's at raelbricker.com/free book. They can download a PDF version of my book.
Awesome, thank you.
Story of my business, but on the back of the book there are 3 sentences, and it says, business is simple, business is not complicated. And here's the bit of advice I would give everybody. But sometimes you just have to dive in and adjust your course while you're moving. And that's exactly what it is. You can't, I see a lot of people who come here and don't embrace the lifestyle. And I think that's the first problem that you have. But I think Australia has amazing opportunities, but you've got to go out and get them. I think Australia will give you as many opportunities as you're prepared to take.
Awesome.
Thank
you so much. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. What great words of advice. And as you said, you have been in business and you have been in Australia for such a long time that you obviously know what you're talking about. And I cannot agree with you more. The most important thing for South Africans to come here is they should try and become a part of the Australian culture, not try and enforce their culture into Australia, although there is so much South African going around everywhere. We look forward to hearing more of you on your international stages that you'll be speaking at, and I'll be linking your book down in the comments below for anybody who'd like to go and download your free book. Thanks so much again for your time, Rael. It was lovely to chat to you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure, and always happy to chat to immigrants and talk to them about opportunities.
Awesome. Appreciate the offer. Enjoy your day, Rael.
Thank you. See ya.
Goodbye.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you had fun, please remember to hit that subscribe button, and then it'll make sure that you never miss a thing. I'll see you same time and same place next week. Bye for now.